everybody, happy March 1st. It's a beautiful sunny day today, and of all the places today, we are in Cloverdale. It's a bit further, I guess, south of everything. I'm not sure if it's still considered the Greater Vancouver area, but it's certainly quite a bit a ways from home. Famously known for the Cloverdale Rodeo and exhibition, which is not happening yet, but Mr. B and I were just talking about we should really make a point to find out when that is so we can go and have a look-see. We're here out in Cloverdale today because he's got to go to some kind of an RC shop to pick up some bodies for his little like zippity zip cars and whatnot, and I'm just here for the ride. And there's a cool coffee shop around here that we're gonna pop by and check out and maybe grab some brew. I don't have big plans for the day, but I am so happy it's a sunny day or we'll just lounge around. So it's about the same as the one I take for work. Right? That's a 12 ounce, yeah.
You definitely feel the spice.
Is it like what kind of spice? Like a cinnamon or like a clove or like a chili?
Almost. Yeah.
I think mine good. It's like it's not too
Not too heavy.
Yeah. Happy weekend, everybody. It is certainly not the start to the weekend that I was hoping for. We've got rain all day on the weather forecast. I think it's currently taking a bit of a breather right now, but the clouds are still heavy, and I'm anticipating all day of like misty, maybe a little bit of showers, although typical Pacific Northwest weather, so I guess I can't complain too much. I hope you're all doing well. I've got a bit of a strange day today. So I thought out of all the days, this is certainly the one to pick up the camera and kind of talk through together what we're up to. I've got most of the day and probably a good chunk of the night to myself. And for those of you who are in a cohabitation situation, as I like to call it, you know that sometimes it's definitely unusual to have some time alone to yourself. And those of you who got kids, like I have friends and colleagues who have got kids and they go from their day job and then home and there's kids. They're just like, I feel like I would be so crazily overstimulated all the time. And so having a day to myself actually sounds quite pleasant. And I'm sure as much as you love all the people in your lives, sometimes you do need that bit of a breather as well. So I've got a rental management company inspection in a couple hours, so I'll tidy up the apartment a little bit. But otherwise, the day is ours. We can do whatever we want. I do think, though, that being the gloom and glum it is outside, I don't think we're going to head outside. I thought about going out to like a coffee shop or doing something casual, doing a walk around, but I feel like I'd rather just really stay in my sweats and cozy up for the day. I've got a couple of things that's been on my to-do list for a while, so maybe we'll tackle that. Certainly crafting is on the agenda. I'm feeling well rested, got loads of sleep last night, so I have the brain power to do some crafts. I also think that maybe I'm going to sit down today and do some YouTube content research, and I've been meaning to talk about this for a while, and maybe I have in a past vlog. I really can't remember. Those of you who've been around these parts loads, you know, I call all of you my frequent visitors. I know lots of you by your usernames or sometimes by your real names. You pop in all the time, and we have this long standing back and forth relationship, and that's really sweet, I think. But I will say, and you might have noticed, since I've pivoted away from exclusively beauty vlogging content, which is what I started out as in my earlier years. And as life and job and stuff took over, it was easier and more intuitive for me to create vlog content, VLOG, vlog content. Now, I do think that the vlogs that I like to watch, which is similar to the ones I currently make, they're long form, they are definitely more casual, they're not as scripted, they just kind of film your day-to-day life, right? Day in the life, what are you up to? They may not necessarily have a big, very clear storyline or theme. I really enjoy watching those. I love seeing what people get up to in the places that they live and maybe a little bit of their lives, like not too much, but enough. And there are certainly a couple of people that I visit and watch frequently because I just love their day-to-day vlogs. I will say those vloggers I have in my subscription feed are mostly from Japan or Korea, where I think the audience is quite a bit different. The North American audience, my guess is that we've got a real short attention span. We are used to the vlogs and the attention grabbing way that vlogs and content is created, where everything is quick and fast and short form, and we just want flashes of this and that and fast cuts, and it feels so stressful. I find when I watch those, I can only watch so many of those before I'm a little bit like wired, that's how I feel anyways. So living in North America, I assume that most of my content is promoted in this continent, but I'm not necessarily driving a lot of views, and for the most part I'm not worried about like reaching however many views. It's more in terms of the amount of views you have or engagement. My understanding also drives how you are promoted or being seen or being recommended to other people in the YouTube platform. So I'm thinking like I need to do a little bit of work to see where I could tweak or try and improve the vlogs for 2025. This year, we are already in March, so I'm already feeling a little bit behind, as one does. But if you've got some thoughts, I'd love to hear them. I've asked previously for your opinions on, longer monthly vlogs versus shorter vlogs versus, and everybody's got a different preference. But I guess in terms of maybe either content themes, or you really just like seeing what people get up to day, not necessarily with this big grand cinematic storytelling that's very popular. I know this with a lot of North American vloggers. It feels like a lot. It feels like you gotta be like super invested and have a great old plan. But I find it more casual and just more approachable to turn on the camera and just talk to you day to day. But I could be wrong. Maybe I'm not fit for the right audience. Like I haven't found my new audience since pivoting to vlogging. With that being said, a lot of my singular videos are doing quite well, actually surprisingly well. My one about sewing plans actually get quite a boost compared to the other ones, but I'm having some trouble getting traction in my vlogs, and I can't quite figure it out yet, or maybe I'm just in the wrong space. Anyway, that is my big thing I want to start delving into today. Otherwise, I gotta clean this up a little bit. There's little pockets of messes all over the place, just in prep for the inspection. And I've never actually had a proper formal inspection as a tenant. I've always had great relationships with my unit owners, land unit owning people. I hate the word landlords. I feel like landlords is such an antiquated term. You are the lords of the land, but the people who own the places that I rent. I've always had great relationships, and they've never really done a proper formal inspection throughout, beyond moving in and moving out. But this time is the first time I'm associated with a property management company. So as per their guidelines and rules, they've got to come and tick off their box that they've done, an inspection. So I hope it's fine. I think it's fine, but my inner type A can't deal with some of that stuff over there. So I'm going to tidy up a little bit. We'll see what our day ends up taking us. I have no food plans. There are some tidbits in the fridge, but we might actually go out for some food. We'll see. But otherwise, we've got the day and most of the night to ourselves. Oh, have I mentioned why though? Mr. B is actually at a race today for his mini RCs. He's joining, I think, 3 separate categories. He was working on, tweaking his car for hours and hours yesterday, but he's super stoked to be there and have fun and, meet people in his niches. I guess it's like when I meet people who sew, right? I get all excited. So he's meeting people in his niche. That's his new thing. There's a proper race today. It's at the brewery, so I'm sure there's fun and there's all kinds of other stuff. Maybe there's prizes. Maybe he'll get a prize. Maybe he's gonna come back with more race cars. That sounds like a bad idea. Anyway, I wished him luck when he left this morning. He left pretty early. So that is gonna be today in a nutshell. So we'll see how much we get up to. But first, let's tidy up the spot. Hi everybody, happy early spring break. This is my first day officially off work, and it's one of those moments where I guess there's a lot of stuff going on in this career field and sometimes it drives me absolutely bananas. But one of the perks, of course, is I get preset, quite extensive vacation days. Granted, I don't get to ever choose, my vacation days. So it's always high season or busy season. If I try and go anywhere, clearly my body is saying, go back to bed. My plan was to stay in bed most of the day. However, Mr. B and I had to go run some errands this morning, so I'm already in my outside clothes, and I figure might as well come on and say hi and see how you all are doing. I have quite a few things planned for the next 2 weeks, but I definitely am most looking forward to just chilling out. The weather's kind of on the up and up, I think. We're getting some good sunshine today while I was outside just now, and at the moment, I've got a matcha frap. I've got a little turnover thing in the toaster oven waiting for me. So I think it's going to be a good morning. I initially, like I said, was going to stay in bed most of the day. But now that I'm up, I might get a couple of things done around the house and just do some early tidy and cleaning. I'm the kind of person who really needs her space to be a certain way before I can actually relax and fully enjoy myself, especially kind of in my home space. If it's not the way I want it to be, like not tidy, not, you know, whatever, I have a hard time like relaxing, right? So I might get going on a couple of those house things before maybe getting back under the covers. Who knows? It does seem a bit of a shame though to waste the good sunshine today. So we'll see what the rest of the day brings. But I'm also hoping to go and get my lashes done again. I haven't gotten that done in a while, and I'm really missing having mascara on and all that. So we'll see if that also gets done in the next couple of days. But I hope you're doing great. It's the middle of March. Lots to go. Hey everybody, we're out at my parents' house. If you're an OG subscriber, you would definitely recognize this setup. I thought I'd pop on here and show you some goodies and beads that I picked up. I think I'm diving into a little bit of a new hobby. I don't think it's gonna get very deep, only because I think like sewing is still my main thing. But recently, because, you know, Chinese New Year and all, I made a little bracelet that looks like this. I went to Michael's and I bought some beads. Now, my mom insisted that it needs to be red, so I got some red beads, and because it was a little boring, just red by itself, I got these little golden butterfly spacers. And then I had some clear beads at the end because I knew I had to make a knot and I didn't want the knot to be too obvious. This is the very first bracelet I've made, like, you know, other than the friendship ones you make when you're like 10. But I was so pleased with this. I got some stretchy elastic thread from Michael's as well. So this whole thing was Michael's, but it did kick off this little interest in making some bracelets because I tend to have smaller wrists. And when you have smaller wrists, or I guess larger or smaller than average, a lot of things just don't fit right. And hence I've never worn bracelets. But now that I know I can make my own, well, this opens up a whole new world of bracelet making. So I still have lots of the elastic thread. I bought the 1mm one. I probably could have gone smaller because this does limit the type of beads I use. I can't use the super small seed beads because the elastic is too thick for the holes, but you can always get other sized elastics or other diameters. I went with the 1mm because I was worried the elastic would break, but it seems to be like really strong. So the 1mm was right for this job. Anyway, rambling aside, I was at Dressew because, of course, I was at Dressew since I was getting my lashes permed. I got to talk to you about this lash lift business. I've made some new, I've been educated, shall we say, but that's for a bit later. Let's talk beads. Dressew has a craft section downstairs in their basement. I call it the clearance basement or the notions basement, the basement of wonderful goodies. And they do sell some knick-knack and crafty things. And one of the things they do have are beads. They have a whole row of just like beads. Now, the stock kind of ebbs and flows depending on what they're getting in. Recently, they have gotten some check glass beads, which are beautiful. That seems to be kind of a particular niche. Like, you know, how Swarovski has their, you know, patented crystals. Seems like check beads are a very particular look or quality. I need to do a bit more research. I just got regular glass beads, and I got a couple of different colors. These are all from JB bead selections. That's all they say. It's called John Bead 1954. I will say Dressew does have some very old school collections. I wonder how long they've had these, but they're at a great price. They're like $1.99 for a vial of glass beads in various different colors. They didn't have their whole wall as they usually would. I feel like someone was beading, and it did take a lot of their stock. So I was leaning in the direction of something fun for summertime, and then something more kind of color coordinated. So I'll show you kind of the color families I've got. I've got these ones, and I tried to get some faceted beads, glass beads, as well as some that are just more like seed beads. So this, I don't know how good this lighting is. Yeah, can you tell I'm back at my parents'? I don't know how good the lighting is. That is something I used to say all the time. So I've got these two. This is more of a topaz color is what they're calling it. And this one is more of a lemony yellow, but it has an iridescence to it. I don't know how well the iridescence will last with wear and tear, but the color combo was super cute. So these are kind of yellows. And then I delved into kind of the pinks and peaches. And a lot of these colors can go with each other. So this one is more of a pinky seed bead. And this one's more of a peachy seed bead. So I've got those. And they're also $1.99 a vial. And I've got slightly larger beads. These are more oval shaped. And they're the crackle glass. This one is gold sand. Oh, looks like this. And then this one, they're calling it fire polish. This one is more of a octagonal, maybe, multi-sided bead. More of an amethyst purple color. And then I've got this ocean blue. I think this one, together with maybe the yellow, would be a super cute like sorbet summer combination perhaps. Ooh, maybe like this. This could be a bracelet set, or you could go like maybe like this and that, right? Or this and that, or you could even, if you want a darker color combo, you could do this with this maybe. I don't know. Anyways, I've got a whole bunch of these, and I'm really excited to play with them. These are super simple to make, so I've been pleased with myself. Otherwise, I just picked up also little swath of just like a silky bubble satin. I'm going to use it to wrap up the handles of a new purse that I got, because, you know, handles are a whole situation, and I think it will add a nice little pizzazz. It looks kind of maybe potentially designer-esque. I think it looks lovely. It's got a silky satin feel, and I'm just going to cut the strips, maybe hem it, and then wrap it around some purse handles. But super quick little Dressew haul. And I am ready for dinner. It's nice to be at your parents' place because your mother would always cook for you.
Now you may know I've been on a nail journey of sorts for at least over a year. Always having brittle nails that don't grow very long, and you know, having these wonderful dreams of having beautiful groomed nails. This is again another attempt at doing things myself. This is a low haul from an online web shop called Classique Beauty Supply, and they mostly cater to nail products. They have a couple other things on there too. I made a small order recently, which included a magnet that you just saw earlier. That is from the TheGelBottle brand. They've got lots of, different brands, but that one seemed like a reasonable price. I also picked up some magnetic gel for the first time. I've never used magnet gel before, but it always looks so cool. Rarely nowadays do I get my nails done outside by someone, but I am always fascinated by the magnet cat eye effect. And I figured, let's give it a try myself since we're on this path anyways. I decided on this brand called YHH, which I haven't seen anywhere else, but having done a little bit of searching, they seem to be a Taiwanese-based brand started by a beauty enthusiast slash blogger slash nail tech ? Her product seems to be on the more affordable side of things, ranging from about $13 Canadian for a small pot of magnet gel. And I picked up 2 colors just to try out. One is this kind of steely, glassy blue with silver magnetic particles. I think that would be lovely. I'm definitely into blues on my nails. I feel like it's a neutral. Then I also picked up this mauve-y pinky shade, and this one feels a little bit darker. It is pink slash mauve, but it has slightly darker silver shifts in it. I haven't used them yet. I'm very excited. These are actually, this particular color is what you'll see on my nails later on in this vlog. And still a learning curve. I totally forgot to get a black base gel, which I later realized is going to help with all this magnetic stuff. Then this is something I've only recently delved into. This is called rubber base gel. And apparently, if you have brittle nails or very flexible nails, which is what I've always had, a rubber base gel seems to help adhere a bit better and flexes with your nails when your nails flex, instead of peeling off or cracking, which is the majority of my problems whenever I use gel type products. I have used this a little bit since then, as of the time I'm doing this voiceover, and I would say it's certainly better than the other base products or base gels I've used before. But again, your girl still needs some practice. I picked up 2 colors. One is almost like a milky, very light blue, like a white with a blue tinge. And then this one is quite a classic muted dull pink. Again, very appropriate day today, not too flashy, but I'm trying real hard, everybody. I'm really hoping to be able to tackle these DIY nails. I'm still not great at removal, but application is definitely getting better. Let me know if you have any recent new products that you love, or if you're a DIY nail person.
Happy Monday, everybody. We are halfway through spring break. I can't believe it's just been like an entire week since I believe I last chatted with you at home. I am trying to get myself pulled together to do some, daily life stuff this Monday. Mr. B is locked up in the den at work, and I figured that I would put on a little bit of face and also get myself a little bit of work done. It is March, as per spring break, which also means it is last call to get your taxes in order. So I gotta go dig through all my documents, make sure I have all my tax forms and stuff. Not the most glamorous thing, but a necessary evil. Growing up, I remember my dad used to always say, and I don't know, he probably heard this from somewhere. He always say 2 things you can never escape from is death and taxes, which I don't know if it sounds a little sad and morbid. Probably is, now that I'm grown and think about these things on my own. I've been really enjoying a couple of beauty items. I figured we'd have a little chat while I get ready for the day. It's funny because I usually don't wear even this much makeup day to day when I'm at work, but this time for spring break, I figured since I'm at home and I have the time to play with this stuff, let's put some on, see which ones I actually like, and see what I could realistically put up with in my actual routine when work picks up again. I've mentioned this before, but I am very, I guess, a little fussy when it comes to my beauty routine for day-to-day going to work. I don't really have a need to wear makeup at work. There's no, dress code in that aspect. But I have really enjoyed having my eyebrows microbladed. That's been super helpful. Having been worried about that and, the permanence of it and getting the right shape and stuff, now that I've had it for almost a year now, I am super happy with just taking one thing off of my to-do list in the morning. Like most of the time, I'll just throw on a little brow gel and we are good to go. Now, I've recently also gotten my lash lift redone. So that's been great too. That's my little treat to myself. It's certainly not cheap, but as someone with uneven eyelids, and it really kind of impacts the way I'm able to wear mascara and eye makeup and stuff, having a lash lift, again, is another thing that really helps out in my beauty routine, and I love the way it looks. So that's two things that's kind of semi-permanent on my face. And of course the lashes, though that does grow out, right, as your lash cycle sheds and whatnot. Excuse the hair, it's a little crazy today. But having my lash lift means I can just put on some regular mascara and we are good to go, and my lashes are like staying perky all day. I don't have to actually wear waterproof mascara. Recently I have started trying this one, and again, I don't know why brands feel like they need to constantly launch new products. Sometimes when the product is good, I don't need you to, revamp it or come up with a new thing. Instead of 5 times volume, now it's like 12 times volume. Like, just stick with what works. But this is a new product and I saw in the stores it was on sale. I'm like, oh, let's give it a try, because when I have my lash lift, I can actually wear regular washable mascara. I don't need a waterproof one. This is the Maybelline, what is this? Fireworks mascara. I have it in black brown, and the wand is nothing special, but it is super flexible. Like the bristle part is nothing special. I think they've got little like hooks on the end to really grab your lashes. But I find it does a really good job. If you already have lashes that are curly or curled or lifted or whatever, it does look quite nice, and you don't need a lot of coats. So this is what I've been wearing lately, and I've been enjoying it quite a bit. I feel like the black brown bit though, you don't really notice that much. Maybe it makes a difference. I figured I'd try something a little bit more gentle, but if I get this again, I probably actually would go back to having black. This of course also comes in the waterproof version. So options for everybody. Those of you who've been watching me for a long time, or just, have been makeup lovers for the last, decade or so, you might remember the Maybelline Colossal Volume Express. That has been my longest kind of favorite mascara product in my beauty routine since my high school years. And sometimes I'll still get that when I just want something that does the job. Nothing, none of this fancy marketing, if you will, that they have nowadays. And I'm glad they continue to make that one and sell it in the stores. And it seems to be one that does actually go on discount quite often because it's an older product. On that note, has anyone noticed how expensive makeup is nowadays? I know minimum wage and all that stuff has gone up, and the economy, and whatever you want to say or, you know, contribute to the reasoning. But I was in, where was I want to say London Drugs, and the average foundation, so London Drugs is not the most expensive drugstore. I would say if you're talking about regular prices, we have a store called Shoppers Drug Mart. That is probably your higher end of average drugstore price. I'm sorry, I keep leaning on the table. I'm gonna try not to lean on the table. Don't touch the table. But London Drugs is actually pretty reasonable, and when things go on sale at London Drugs, they're actually even a better price. But I was in there looking for actually a washable mascara, and gosh, like the average drugstore foundation nowadays is $15 to $20 easily. A mascara is often, you know, more than 10, sometimes like $15, $17. So at times now I feel, is it more worthwhile just to go and buy like luxury or high end, if you will, because by comparison the price gap is really narrowing. There's no longer a huge significant difference, I find, between the pricing of drugstore products and the pricing of, you know, Sephora branded or luxury or, you know, whatever that you will. So that's a little food for thought. But another thing I've been really enjoying, and I just haven't used it since I bought it until I went on spring break and had, you know, more time, is this Makeup Forever powder. I got this a while ago at one of the Sephora VIB sales or something. This is the HD setting powder. I have the shade in 1.1 Light Vanilla, which I think is probably the right shade. I love a couple of things. I love the dispenser right here. It's got the little holes, and when you're not using it, you can just twist it off and it closes, right? I love the little pointed puff that it comes with. It's a tapered puff. You can get these lots of places nowadays. That's not the thing with this, but I like how it does set things. Oh, should have worked it in a bit more. You can see the little bits on my chin. I like how this sets things without looking very obvious. And sometimes I don't really want to do a setting spray, so I'll do this because the cushion foundation I'm using today, and I'm trying to use stuff up that's in my drawers. This is the Amuse Dew Jelly Vegan Cushion in 1.1 Clear. This does look a little bit more glowy or moist, if you will. So I find setting with a little bit of powder does help. And I've used lots of powders over the years, and I hate powders because I find they either don't do much, or I'm using it wrong, or they just feel really dry and powdery. So this one has been pretty good. So enjoying this. What else is happening with me today? Well, other than getting my taxes done, I do need to, I think, maybe catch up on some sewing. I've been talking about making like a set of joggers for my mom. She saw this set that I have from Sinclair Patterns, actually. I've talked to you about them before. They make excellent height inclusive patterns. And she saw me wear, you know, one of those joggers, and she's like, oh, I want a pair. So I bought the fabric, I did all this stuff. What takes the most time and the brain energy for me whenever I'm working on sewing stuff is always the prep, right? The prepping the pattern, the printing it out, taping it together, tracing off the right size, and in the case if you're making it for somebody else, retracing it in the right combination of sizes, then pre-washing the fabric, then cutting it, making all the markings, getting all your prep. The actual sewing is like way down the line of production, if you will. So oftentimes it takes me a long time to get to the sewing bit, and I often get a little like sidetracked or discouraged, or, you know, lose my motivation and momentum partway in between. It's usually by the time I get to tracing that I'm already so done with the job that you know, there needs to be a bit of a break, and then I gotta like will myself back into the process. And once I get going, it's fine. Like there's a lot of enjoyment in in sewing for me. So I think I'm gonna work on that, because I also bought some lovely gray, like light gray French terry, like lightweight French terry, that I think I want to make a matching like jogger sweatshirt set or something like that. There's a pattern I tried before that didn't quite work out for me as a sweatshirt top, so I want to try it again in a different fabric. So maybe some sewing is in the works for me. Oh, I also got to show you my nails. Let me move this for you. I spent hours, y'all, hours working on these nails yesterday. So I find myself to be one of those people like that enjoy doing things with my hands, right? Like sewing being one of them, and I do little crafts. Recently I got into bracelet making, hence this and a couple other things I filmed in a few clips past. But my nails have been something that's been a long-term, I don't want to say issue, but a long-term thing that I've been looking to improve, and I've tried all the nail treatments and this or that. And for a while I went to someone local who does great work with nails. I was going to like a special thing and I wanted my nails done for it, and I kept it for a good 6 months. I kept going back to her and whatnot, and then of course she moved, and which is all fine and dandy. But then I'm back into the zone of, can I do this myself? If all the girlies on the internet can learn to do their own nails, can I learn to do my own nails? So this is actually one of my long-term goals to work on in terms of, you know, a DIY beauty routine. I know there's some kind of health and safety issues with working with gel and whatnot, and I've still got to learn a bit more about that, but I'm being cautiously optimistic about learning how to do my own nails. So these are actually from the last time I talked to you about nails. These are still the tips, and they've grown out, so I've trimmed them. I have filed down the builder gel that I had put on top. I worn some Orly builder gel, so I filed that down, and then I filled it with new builder gel, and then it was my first time trying magnetic gel, and definitely I still need some practice, and definitely I should have used a dark or black base before the magnet gel, and just totally like left my mind. I knew it, but I didn't remember it in the moment, so I don't actually have any black gel polish. So I'm gonna make a list. There's some new things to get from either, I guess, Sweetie Nail Supply or Classique Nail Supply or something like that. That's where I ordered some stuff from recently, and they've got a great Klarna plan, which is helpful if you don't want to jump in cold, you know, and drop like $100 on products. So I am proud of what these look like for the amount of experience I have, but holy banana muffins, these took forever to do, and I'm just so glad that they will be on. I know they'll be on for at least 2 weeks, if not 3. It was around the 2.5 week mark where I started noticing some lifting around the cuticle, and it was just kind of getting grown out. So I decided to, you know, do my whole fill and all that stuff. But you nail techs, like, bow down to you for all your skills and practice and whatnot. So I think I might pick up and order a couple more nail products just to round things out. My shaping still needs a lot of work, but I think this is a good start. So this is probably going to be a new hobby thing I'm going to pick up, doing my nails. I feel like there's a lot of new hobbies on the horizon for me, so I'm feeling pretty jazzed and optimistic about having some new hobbies. Aside from sewing, like sewing is always my go-to, but it's nice to try other things as well, since we already have a bit of that set up with the coffee station. I love our coffee station, by the way. We got it, maybe like it's a whole stand thing that we put the espresso machine, the grinder, some other stuff on there, so it's nice to like go to your station and make yourself a cute little drink. That's a nice pick-me-up, especially on the weekends. So I want to delve and look into that. This is all to say, in my 17 minutes of yapping, that it's nice when you have a bit of downtime, like, you know, a vacation, a long weekend or whatever, where your brain is not just filled with backlog stuff, work stuff, house chores. Like, I've got most of that out of the way in the last couple of days since I started my break, And now there's actually space and capacity for my brain to think about other things. Sometimes you don't, you know, you don't necessarily notice this, but the how do you even describe this? The luxury of having time and a clear mind to let your curiosities wander and explore and be curious. Because when you're so bogged down mentally with all the other stuff in life, you don't have capacity to even be curious about stuff. Like, I wouldn't even be thinking of, oh, could I get some more things to do my nails, or what can I do here, or thinking about I want to explore, like trying, you know, making new stuff and all those things. So that is to say, I hope that you, as much as you can, you know, give yourself those little pockets of time to let your curiosity, let your brain, let your mind kind of explore different things. I know it can be hard depending on your life's responsibilities, your work, the economy, which is a whole other situation, because apparently Canada just called for a federal election. That's a whole nother thing, not for this channel. But I know with all the things that we deal with in life, I hope that you take the time to care for yourself, whatever that means for you. For me, this is something I've thought about, and I wouldn't have if I didn't have the luxury of having some time and space and spring break. So I'm really thankful for that, and I'm hoping to make the best of the next 7 days I still have of this season, although it's going to be raining for like the whole week. I already checked the weather network.
Just waking up, had a good night's sleep. Dreams a little weird, but not that deep. No rush today, no plans required. Just a day with my people is all I desire. Smiles and laughs over morning toast. Stories and jokes we enjoy the most. Sweet thank you and kiss on the cheek. Moments like this just can't be beat. Life can be a dream. There's beauty in simple things. Life can be a dream. There's beauty in simple things. Neighbors wave high from their front porch. Birds sing while we talk and explore. Stepping on leaves, smell fresh cut grass. Holding my hand when the cars go past. Good iced tea, trees changing leaves. Make that smile that I love to see. Perfect advice when something's wrong. Singing and dancing to our favorite song.
Happy shopping day, everybody! I am just heading out to meet with my friend. Those of you who've been around for March every year will know that I always have a friendiversary shopping date with one of my close friends. So that is the plan for today. We kind of save all year for a little bit of a splurge. So I'm super excited. We've booked a French place for kind of a brunch situation. But right now, I'm a little bit late because I gotta go and catch a bus. So I'll see you on the road.
Hi, good morning.
What's the marble mocha?
A marble is mixed, white and dark.
Just like a blend of both?
Yes.
Okay, sure. I'll get one of those in an 8 ounce, please.
Mocha, 8 ounce,
Yeah.
marble
Yes.
to go.
Yes, please.
All right.
I confused it with something else.
Oh, $10 surcharge for lost definitive.
No, that's not it.
No. I don't have another page.
Is there a brunch menu? You can do it. 11:30.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, it doesn't sound very friendly, but
I'm kind of into that.
it's just like, yeah, like
There's tater tots. I wish I brought my dairy for it, but that's okay. I forgot. That actually sounds not bad. I just don't feel like
what's it? Just mayonnaise
no, it's the cheese.
and the lobster roll.
The Gruyere tater tots.
Oh.
They're fancy tater tots. Fancy tater tots.
I think the coffee shop is wrong. The chocolate's in there.
What is your mocha?
I ordered like a marble. So it's just, I
okay.
think it's just white and dark.
That's nice. Just something different than like Starbucks. This is like a
I don't think a lot of people, places do 8 ounce. That's really small.
no, yeah, because Starbucks is already like this, right?
Yeah.
I think that's their short.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've never had a 6. I also think the Starbucks has so much, like, now that I've looked on the app, there's so much syrup.
You know, sometimes the weight of the world feels heavy, and life continues to challenge all of us in different ways. But sitting here, surrounded by good food and even better friends, I'm reminded that we don't always need grand gestures to feel alive again. These small moments, the way the odd ray of sunlight filters through the windows, unexpected laughter over inside jokes, that first sip of a decently made coffee, they're like little safety bubbles when we're struggling through life. I hope watching this vlog encourages you to schedule your own moments of joy, however small they might seem, even if it just means taking the longer scenic route home. And of course, if you made it all the way here to the end, leave me a fancy nail emoji. Thank you so much for spending a piece of your day with me. These days, content creation is just a side gig, a way to continue working my creative muscle amongst the busy demands of life. And your support is that extra sprinkle to my week. Take care everyone, and I'll see you soon in the next vlog. April.